Greetings, Earthlings. I'm Planet Mitch from planet5d.com. I want to update you on an application that I use absolutely all the time on my Mac, and I think you ought to be doing it too. As you can see, I am in Safari, and I have a whole bunch of windows open. I have my accounting at Xero.com, the headlines over at planet5d.com, Hubstaff, which is where I track the writers, and Facebook, as well as the Planet 5D blog, and, just a whole bunch of other stuff. And what I wanted to show you was this application called Fluid. Now, we're all used to using stuff like Facebook on our phones. There's a separate application for things like Facebook and YouTube and Gmail and all those other things. But when you're opening these things in Safari on your Mac, or maybe in Firefox or Chrome, you end up with all these separate windows. And you've got, Facebook is open, and Hubstaff, like I said, and Xero, and all these things are separate windows. And finding them is sometimes kind of hard. But we're used to having the icon bar at the very bottom of our screen, and we're used to iOS with all sorts of different applications, so why not have separate applications for things like Facebook? Well, they actually haven't created one as far as I know. Maybe they have in the App Store now. I don't know. But let's suppose we want to create a Facebook application on our Mac. And I do Alt-Tab or Command-Tab to switch between applications, and you can see that I've got Safari and I've got ScreenFlow open, which I'm using to record this, and I've got an app called Fluid, and then the Finder. Now, Fluid is this awesome app, and you can see here's their website. It's at fluidapp.com, and what it does is it makes applications for you. And their example is Facebook, so I'm going to do that too. Let's just assume I want to create a Facebook app. So I'm going to go over here to Safari, and I'm going to look at my Camera Conundrum page, and I'm going to copy this URL off the top. And then I'm going to switch over to Fluid, and I'm going to paste that URL. So let's, you've got one particular page that you always want to go to in Facebook. Maybe it's your groups home. Maybe it's your wall, wherever you want to go. And I'm going to call it Facebook app, and it's going to store it in applications, which is a traditional place for your Mac applications to go. And then you can use an icon. Now, maybe you can go grab a large Facebook icon off of the web with Google somehow. I tend to do that, and I drag them out to my desktop. And otherwise, it's going to use the favorite icon, which is this tiny little thing. But we'll go ahead and do that so you see what it looks like. And I'm going to create this Facebook app in the Applications folder. So I click on the Create, and it takes a few seconds to set this up. And what it's sort of really doing in the background, you don't have permission to access applications. Well, I'm using a different user ID. Oh, great. So I've logged into a separate user ID on my thing, and I don't have access to that. Where can I put it? Let's say I want to put it right here. My user is called Podcast on my Mac, and I'm going to put it in Documents. Let's just put it there. There you go. So it's created this app, and it's put it in my folder for Documents, and I can do Launch. So what happens is now you see down in the lower right corner over here, I have the Facebook app, and here is my Facebook application. Obviously, I would have to put a password in there and do all that kind of stuff, but now you see it's a separate application. Now, I've done that for Hubstaff. I have an application where I track all of my writers that are working for Planet 5D. And so I have this app that I call the Hubstaff Dashboard, and so I can launch that. Do I want to check for updates automatically? Then sure, what the heck. And so now, as you see, these are all separate applications running on my Mac. They're not just inside Safari. Obviously, you can still do stuff inside Safari, but with Fluid, it is so cool. Here's my Safari window. Looks just like my application window for Hubstaff, doesn't it? I'll make that go away. Look at that. And so I have applications now, and you can do anything that you want to, just like you normally would inside that web site, inside this web application. And so it's really, really cool to be able to run your websites as applications. Let's say, for example, I want to just create one for Planet 5D, or maybe the news page on Planet 5D, because I really like having the news page open. So I go over to headlines, and I'm going to copy that URL, and I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to Fluid. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to call it Planet 5D News, and I'm going to store it there, and I'm going to create it. Now, again, obviously, if I wanted to use a big fancy icon, I could do that. It's simply just a matter of having a JPEG in order to create an icon. I'm going to launch that, and again, it's going to look just like Planet 5D news page. And what you see, there's the Safari page and there's the regular page, but now it's running as an application, and you see it didn't get a very good icon, did it? So I've got to do something about changing that to a better icon. A couple of little caveats here. Notice that when I'm going to close this window back here in Safari so it doesn't confuse us. So inside the application, let's suppose I want to go to the latest Planet 5D news article, and you notice it has switched over to Safari when I did that. Now, let's suppose that I want this to open in a tab within here. So I need to open the preferences. So I'm going to go to Planet 5D News, Preferences, and I'm going to go to this thing called the whitelist. And what I want to do is to allow browsing to any URL. And so what that will do is we'll keep those windows within our particular application. And I believe you have to quit in order to make those happen. So I'm going to quit, and I'm going to do a Planet 5D News app. I'm going to open it again. Yes, I wanted to check automatically for updates. So now if I do this, it opens in a separate tab within this browser. Why it didn't load, I don't know. I have done view toolbar just like you can with Safari. I don't know why that's not loading, but you get the drift. It should load here. I don't know what's something wrong with the server or something. So now I can open these things in a separate tab. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to click if you want a full screen version, then you actually have to purchase Fluid. And I'm going to go over to Safari, and I'm going to go back to the Fluid window. Oh, did I lose it? Oh, here it is. The Fluid window. See, you can never find anything when you want it in Safari. There are some additional features, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit here. I'm going to hit Command plus to increase the font size. If you pay $4.99, you can buy a license, which unlocks these extra features. You can do separate cookie storage. You can pin you can pin Fluid apps to the status bar, so you can have them up at the top if you want. You can do user scripts, which I don't happen to do a lot, but you can use this little green icon to make them full screen if you're in Lion or Yosemite Mac OS versions, which is really kind of cool if you like to have your full screen apps. And that's only $4.99, but that also gives you, like I said, this separate cookie storage, which maybe if you want separate cookies than your Safari browser, then you can pay $5. Let's say, for example, you get tired of the Planet 5D cookies or the pop-ups, and you want to get rid of those, and you never want to clear your cookies. I don't know. There's all sorts of different reasons for doing cookies. And anyway, this is an awesome app. Fluid planetfluidapp.com. I use this all the time. As you can see, I have separate applications for a lot of the stuff that I do. My accounting, my news, my Facebook, my payments to my writers. I do this all the time, and it is so much nicer to be able to have these things as a separate application, just like on your iPhone. That's the Fluid app. I am Planet Mitch, and I run a website called planet5d.com where we talk about DSLRs and filmmaking. We'd love to have you visit if you are interested. Please stop on by to planet5d.com.